Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to episode 55 of the International Pentagon Challenge. So a bit of deja vu, let's be honest, we've been here before, except when we were here before, it was in the Asian Cup group stages where we lost 2-1 to Japan. And if you guys remember that far back, we were robbed. Granted, neither of the two sides really created any clear-cut chances, but yeah. At least we now have a chance to get revenge against our rivals, but most importantly, also book ourselves a place within the Asian Cup Grand Final. And the thing is, we've managed to beat Iran, we managed to beat Saudi Arabia, we managed to beat Palestine 8-0, even though that's not that much of a significant result. But really, it was the group stages where we were starting to bottle it, despite good performances. So we've shown that we can do it against the big boys. It's now time to get revenge against the Chinese. As we can see in the pre-match preview, China have had excellent form recently, whilst we've been somewhat relatively inconsistent. That one loss, ironically, against China. China were also in the World Cup when we were managing England. They have some really physical players. They are really good in terms of playing fast, direct football. We kind of knew that their right winger was going to be creating most of the assists for him and crossing it to the back post of the big guy up front. And despite the fact that we had 3 centre-backs, we still really struggled to deal with it on the counter-attack. So I have kind of been thinking about what I could potentially do to try and, I wouldn't say shut up shop, but try and counteract them a little bit better this match. And we'll take a look at that right now. So in terms of my team selection, I've actually opted to go for a narrow 4-1-2-1-2. The main reason for this is because they tend to concede most of their goals within the first 15 minutes. And I feel like, I've said this before, most of our strength lies within the central areas. So for that reason, I am actually going to go a little bit gung-ho, try and start off on the front foot, try and put them under pressure, yeah, score a goal and abuse and use the central areas. Now, the problem you're probably thinking here is, well, we know most of their threat comes down the wide areas. Shouldn't you really be doubling up down the wings? Which is a fair point, and we are in a bit of a poor kind of situation as well, because we obviously played extra time against Iran, and you can see it on our conditioning sort of piling up, which China don't necessarily have to worry about. So the idea is that even though most of their width comes from the single winger out wide, their fullbacks aren't going to be looking to get forward too much, which is why I feel like as long as I go with a defensive fullback on the left-hand side, in this case it's going to be Ueki, who you might remember played centre-back for us on the left side within our 5 at the back formation. He's really fast though, so I think, well, for a defender, so I think he should be able to cope with the winger as a defensive fullback. And Han Fyong-il, the new Leicester signing, does return, not in the best shape, but to be honest, I'd rather put Uchida in midfield at the moment. So he returns as only a fullback support, and hopefully kind of these guys can shut up shop and try and keep the wingers quiet. On the other hand, we can take advantage of the fact that they are obviously playing only with 2 central midfield players. Try and keep the ball on the floor because their centre-backs are relatively slow. They're just kind of big Mertesacker style centre-backs. So using the triangle of the 3 up top, hopefully we can thread some balls through to Seki and Takasaki and grab an early goal or 2 early goals and see where that takes us. If it seems like the fact that we are playing narrow is still leaving far too many opportunities for the Chinese wingers to whip the ball into the target man, because that's the only tactic they have, then we can adjust accordingly. Another thing that's going to be happening as well is Furuyama and Uchida are both carrileros. It normally works pretty well when you have two carrileros as a diamond, because they tend to kind of pull themselves wider into kind of like the half spaces, which there will be a lot of because our fullbacks won't actually be looking to get forward too much. And Nagata drops down to be a ball-winning midfielder in the defensive midfield position, just to try and kind of shadow in front of the two centre-backs we now have because of the Chinese direct balls. Even though Nagata isn't that big and he's not that good at jumping, and to be fair, he's not that fit at the moment, but most of the team aren't that fit at the moment. So that's the plan. And there's not much more point talking about it too much, because it probably will change as the game progresses. Team instruction-wise, we've done a few changes. We've dropped our defensive line a little bit, because even though, yes, they're very direct, the front two that they have are also pretty fast. So we do need to be aware of that. Playing pretty wide, mixed passing directness, getting stuck in. It's a bloody derby game, higher tempo, because we should be able to do that against a team like China. And let's stop talking about it. Let's get in the game. Okay, so here we go. Pretty much almost the same lineup that they played against us in the group stages. Chao Zihin is the massive target man who we really need to be worried about. He's a guy that got 2 goals against us in the group stages. But generally speaking, other than Shenzhou down this right-hand side, who Weki will be looking to take care of, and Furuyama will actually be given man-mark instructions to try and stay tighter to him. Well, we're going to try and stay tighter to both the wide men. Hopefully, we will be okay, and we'll be able to really take advantage of the fact that their 2 centre midfield players aren't really that great, from what I can see. This guy's valued at 10.5 million, okay, but he's an attacking midfielder centre, and I noticed that when checking him out before, which means he's not going to be that comfortable playing in this deep line playmaker position, even though he might have decent passing stats. This guy, meanwhile, is okay from a physical standpoint, but from a technical standpoint, is going to struggle against us. You know, we're the superior team. Forget what happened in the group stages. Let's do this. So we passionately tell the lads to get out there and get revenge against our rivals. Shenzhou, always tight marking, always hard tackling, always show him onto his left foot as a right winger. That's what he doesn't want to need to be doing, and we're going to do the exact same thing to the opposite winger as well, except try and get him to cut inside on his right foot, of course. As we can see from conditioning, the Chinese are a little bit fitter than us at the moment, but that's life. Here we go then. Big game. Half the stadium in red, half the stadium in blue. I've not told the carrileros to man-mark the wingers as of yet, but if it does feel like it's something that could come relatively well into play, it is something we can look to do. So Seki, it's so important that the 2 strikers now are going to be looking to link up with kind of that attacking playmaker we have. Great tackle from Asano, and we look to recycle possession again. It's real narrow stuff that's going to be coming out from the Chinese. We are going to have to be wary of kind of them direct balls going forwards, and well, really for me, our kind of centre-back should really be challenging Song Ji-hong in that kind of situation, and oh, that's exactly what we don't want. Right, so Song Ji-hong is playing more as a target man here. Change of plan. I'm going to set Asano as a stopper to see if that gets him kind of rumbling up with the target man a bit more, because it was just appalling the way the direct ball's coming forward. For me, the centre-back needs to push forward and bloody stop that. And our centre-back is capable of doing that. So this guy's going to actually now become more of an anchor man. And he's just quite simply going to be told to man-mark their target man. Where is he? Song Ji-hong. It is that simple. We need to put him to bed, because the direct style of play this year, especially, is incredibly powerful on Football Manager. But here we go. Nice passing and a not so nice shot on goal. Got to admit, I'm pretty impressed, you know, with how China have really developed within the game in general. I was surprised to see him in the World Cup when we were England, and to be honest, I'm surprised to see them reach this stage of the Asian Cup. But generally speaking, we've not really looked too great. We look to play out the back though. Furuyama with the ball forward towards Seki. This is nice. Plays in Takasaki. Can he shoot? And it's a great save there from Liu Chao. Great save from Liu Chao. Like, when we go forwards, it does feel like there's a lot of space out wide we can really look to exploit. You got to be honest, it's just screaming, you know, for someone to make that overlapping run. But at the same time, I don't want to take that gamble up against these two. When I say these two, I mean these two up front, obviously. Can Takasaki whip this ball in? We recycle, though. Nakata to Furiyama, who shoots from a distance. Loves a shot from distance, does Furiyama, but unfortunately doesn't really come to much in the end. Uchida again to Takasaki. Seki shoots, and it's just wide of the target. Just wide. Feels like, you know, we could potentially get Han Solo into play a little bit more. So, I'm going to really take that off and turn on pass into space just to see whether that kind of increases our urgency a bit more going forwards. In terms of the crossing game, Zhao Jun, can we tackle him? We can, and this is a great chance now, but it's a bit of a poor ball there. Second we turn pass into space on, we give the ball away like that. But here we go. Seki's through. He's got pace to burn, does the West Brom man. And Seki does what Seki does best, which is fluff good opportunities like that. But so far, I mean, it's been exactly what we really expected from the game. It has... Oh, no, don't let Shenzhou cross. It's been exactly what we've expected from the game in terms of both teams having chances, because both sides are good teams. But really, we've been wasteful in that final third. Uchida is probably going to shoot from distance, and what a goal! Wow, I've turned into a ghost all of a sudden, but it doesn't matter because Uchida has hammered it home for the Japanese. Yes, boys, concentrate now. What a strike that was from Uchida. What a strike. Phenomenal stuff. And we are 1-0 up, and I'm no longer a ghost, which is good. Because the last thing I need right now is Scooby-Doo to walk into my room. Yinli. Oh, my God. That was... Oh, God. That was close. I do not trust our defenders. Which is kind of disappointing, because they have some, like, okay attributes. It just... When it comes to the performance... I see something else. They seem to be very vulnerable to making mistakes for some strange reason. So 30 minutes in, and we're looking good. In terms of changing things around, I'm just going to look to retain possession a little bit more. Other than that, we will leave things the exact same, but I will also change Takasaki to support. Nice ball from Kurikawa. Takasaki now to Han Fyong-gil, who... made the overlap, which is why we've got him on support. We know he can cross like that, but it was just tipped over the bar by the Chinese goalkeeper. Good head from Han Fyong, but we now need to still get rid of the Chinese threat. Yang Zhen goes completely unnoticed. He is going to get to cross the ball in. It goes straight to Zhao Zihin, and, well, I think we got away with that one, to be fair. I'm not quite sure who was meant to be marking Yang Zhen, but that player did go missing. Okay, we've not been at our best. Game plan so far has somewhat, you know, worked, but as we can see, Shenzhou is still causing us loads and loads and loads of problems down their right-hand side. So we're going to assertively tell the lads I'm not happy with what I've seen before, just being brutally honest. Weki, as we can see, has struggled. And with Nagata, Furiyama and Uchida being cream-crackered, I do feel like it is time to change things around tactically and double up on the wings, because as our players get more and more tired, their not-so-tired wingers are going to become more and more effective. Okay, so this is how we're going to be looking to change the game around. We're no longer going to be playing with two up front. We are going to have to kind of change to a 4-3-3. It's a very similar concept to what we discussed with the 4-1-2-1-2. We still have that extra guy in the middle of the park, but now we are doubling up on the wings. That's the intention. So that Seki and Asano can both track back and help out their fullbacks. Yukutomo comes on. We have actually made all three substitutions at half-time. It's a risk I'm going to take. You guys probably know by now that I like a bit of a gamble. Uchida drops down to the deep line playmaker position. He's such an important player for us to stay and remain on the pitch, really. Nagayama comes on, not in the fittest of forms at the moment, but we don't really have much of a choice, to be honest. Asano also comes on. We know he's okay defensively when we used to play him as our left wing back, but he's also decent as a winger. And Seki actually moves out to the right-hand side as an inside forward. And I think that kind of balance where he's left-only footed and can play as an inside forward, he can cut inside, cause them problems, and kind of link up with the central players and help us retain possession, really. We also obviously have to keep an eye on Han Fyong-il's condition, because he's only just come back from an injury, and that's where Seki's defensive aid is going to be crucial. And we're going to tell our wingers to man-mark their wingers, try and keep them quiet. This could end up being one of them games where we scrape it 1-0, even if China end up having the better second half. Team instruction-wise, pretty much roughly the same, except we're looking to retain possession, and we're not exactly as wide as we were when we were playing the narrow formation, because obviously when you're playing a narrow formation, you tell them to be wider, but now that we're naturally playing a wider formation, we're going to go a little bit more narrower. So that is that. And on that note, let's begin the second half. Here we go then, out for the second half, and we've only gone and made 3 substitutions. Lads, whatever you do, just don't get injured. It should be that simple. It might also make sense, you know, a good 10-15 minutes into this half to turn off, get stuck in. It seems wrong to do it in a derby match, in such an important match with so much at stake like this. Steak's really nice, by the way. But, go on. Oh, unlucky. But we can't afford to have a man sent off right now, can we? Let's be honest. So, yeah, that's where that potential motivation would come from. Let me just double check that Uchida is looking to... Yeah, he is looking to stay tight to their target man. But 10 minutes in so far, we can see the man marking is coming into play. We're keeping the pressure on these guys centrally. We don't necessarily have great tacklers or players who, let's be honest, are exactly in great condition at the moment. But it's still an extra man that one of the Chinese players has to try and overcome and run through. Uchida to Furiyama. That's a lovely ball to Takasaki, but maybe not the best of finishers. Because we're telling our guys to kind of man-mark the wingers, it is kind of leaving that other option out for the Chinese fullback to allow them to retain possession. So I am, in a way, given how we're sitting back, expecting the Chinese to build up a fair amount of possession. But if they keep passing it sideways like this in their own half, I don't really mind too much. You know, I don't think we'd have made all 3 substitutions and kind of look so negative if our players weren't so tired. But it's just one of them things where at the moment we don't really seem to have much of a choice. They've actually subbed off Song Ji-hong and brought on Hu Fai, 194 centimetres. Well, you know, I can't see his attributes, but that pretty much tells me everything I need to know about him, doesn't it? 70 minutes in. Obviously, we can't make any specific substitutions, but what we can do is try and shore things up a little bit. So Takasaki can drop back to become a defensive forward. I think Furiyama has probably done enough running, given that he's on 59% right now. And given that they've thrown the big man up front, I'm just going to change our shape a little bit centrally. So, yeah, he can now become a ball winner. We'll leave Uchida as a DLP just to try and get the best out of his passing that he can do. And really here, it's just a case of defending deep and trying to get the ball wide and clear the ball to the flanks, because the Chinese, given the nature of the game, will start pushing men forwards, and it will start making room in the wide areas for us to counter-attack from. And we have those central passers to be able to do that. So tell the lads to concentrate. That's Xiao Zihin who comes off for Li Wai. Again, don't know much about him. 750k. But it's probably going to be somewhat of a burst of energy. Is this on comprehensive? It is on comprehensive. Wow. We've seen nothing. Almost absolutely nothing in this whole second half. You don't have to rush things now, Honda. Plays it out towards our fullback. It's a lovely ball, and this is exactly what we wanted. Asano now with a chance. Asano? Oh, God. Don't do this. Not like this. Not like this. Oh... I've been here before against China. I've been here before against China. Oh, God. Right. Let's turn him into a defensive fullback as well. I just realised actually it did actually change Nagayama's role. One thing I'm going to do is actually raise our defensive line because we looked incredibly deep. Tell the lads to be a little bit more disciplined. And I think right now we can, in a way, afford to increase our width. It'll play more into our hands, I think. China are going to be playing wider, trying to push men forwards. But at the same time, as we saw from that chance before Asano somehow dribbled the ball out of play, it's a good opportunity for us to be able to break a little bit healthier out wide. So now Takasaki can hold the ball up, and this is what we want. This is nice. Keep it simple. Thread it through. Apparently not. Can he play back to the fullback? He is going to try and cross it in, and Takasaki can turn and shoot. Oh, it hits the bar. That could have killed it, and I've somehow turned into a ghost again. I need to sort my green screen out. I've got red eyes and everything. I apologise. I guarantee you I am not a cyborg. Can we finish it off? Oh, how has he not scored there? How has he not scored there? Obviously, it's never nice to see a highlight in the 89th minute, is it? Takasaki. Nice 1-2 with Seki. He's not right-footed, though, but it's a great cross from him, actually. Pretty impressive, that. But we need to stay awake because Yao Ming up front for Hao Fai, 198. You can just see, just look at the size of their players in comparison to ours. It's unbelievable. It's like the Chinese in this game just suddenly feed their regens ridiculous amounts of steroids, and that's what's contributed into creating them into this, I don't know, Asian powerhouse. Oh god, not like this. What a save from Honda. What a save from Honda. I mean, granted, there's only so much you can do in that kind of scenario, you know what I mean? When you've got a guy that big in the box ready to get on your header, and we've got quite small centre-backs. But what a save that was from Honda. Takasaki, just play this simple out wide into the corner flag, Asano. Looked like he was going to win us a corner, but we might be able to catch him slightly out of position. There it is. Red card for China. And we've just about grinded the result. I mean, this game has had everything. It's had clear-cut chances, Emil Heskey. It's had me turning into a ghost. Or the Terminator with red eyes. It's had a red card. It's all kicking off. We've gotten revenge, though. Have I spoken too soon? I haven't. We've gotten revenge for what was... I mean, let's be honest. It was a really poor result in the group stages. To get beat by China. And ladies and gents, we have just about made it. Well, we haven't just about made it. We have made it into the Asian Cup final, and it looks like we're going to be playing Uzbekistan, a tired Uzbekistan. We obviously drew 1-1 or 0-0 against them when we played them in our group, and they beat Jordan 4-1. It's just unbelievable how we're playing Uzbekistan in the Asian Cup final. It's not been in Australia, it's not been in Iran, it's not been a Saudi, you know, especially Iran and Saudi. We beat them to get to this stage. I feel like the teams we beat, we've proven already we are the best team in Japan. Like, the only team that would probably, in Japan, in Asia, the only team that would be probably left for us to really beat to assert our dominance, even though performances haven't been great, we've grinded out results, would be Australia. But they got knocked out, so that speaks for itself. So now, absolutely no excuses, especially given that Uzbekistan obviously played extra time. Granted, Kaz Ramonov, I do remember him from the group stage, managed a hat-trick in extra time. That's it. It's ours to lose now. You can't help but feel. So well done, boys. We're in the final. Great to have Han Fyong back, Han Solo. And there it is. We are going to be playing Uzbekistan in... I like how they say defeat 10-man China, as if like they were playing with 10 men for the mass majority of the game. We've made it into the grand final. We're playing Uzbekistan. They're ranked 91st in the world. It's going to be all pressure on us. We are going to be the favourites. They're a very similar team to China in the sense that they hoof it to the big guy up front, but let's be honest, were we expecting anything different? So, after a tipsy, topsy-turvy group stage, we've somehow managed to book ourselves a place in the Asian Cup final. If we win, do we stay with Japan and manage them at the next World Cup, or do we call it a day in Asia because we've won the Asian Cup? Hopefully I don't jinx it now, and just move straight on to another continent. Let me know what you guys want in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.